They expected watalii wakuwe ni wazungu. Umdani ya siye. Ndiye. Everyone can be a mtalii. Kioko anaweza katoka Ukambani, aende paka Mombasani, ajione maji mingi mara moja. Wafula anaweza katoka Western, mpaka Eldoret, aende akue mkimbizi. Everyone can tour Kenya and be a local tourist. There are a million places to visit. Unaweza ukatembea mahali kama
Nairobi National Park. Unajua it's the only park within a city.
Ama tuende Reteti Elephant Sanctuary where you can actually adopt a baby elephant.
You see, ndovu ikuwe na jina yako.
Kila mtu na ndovu yake.
Cheki, si tuende Homa Bay, Takawiri Island. Ama just imagine umeenda place umekaa tu hivi unaona flamingos kama 1 million. Unajua hapo ni wapi?
Lake Nakuru.
Badala ya kutafuta desert Dubai, si tuende hapa Chalbi.
Haya, wako mpaka na sana.
Yes.
Ama uende Hell's Gate, uone mahali shetani analala.
Hata guys, kuna place tumesahau. Hatuwezi kosa kwenda Masai Mara. Kwanza saizi kuko na wildebeest migration. What do you mean?
Mara hiyo. You guys, I like your energy. I think I should take you somewhere. Wacha nipeleke hao warembo kwa Jamhuri Day Special ambayo imeandaliwa na PPMC na MC chake ni Godaman. Unajua hao warembo wako 25. Mr. President, you saw what I did there.
Yo! Ladies and gentlemen, today we affirm ourselves with the right to self-determination, dignity, and freedom. We use music as a tool to promote local tourism, culture, and the Kenyan beauty. And right now, with our Kenyan spirit, make some noise and let's celebrate Kenya! And now, all the way from Nyanza to Nairobi, Kenya, make some noise for Elisha Toto and Dola Kambari.
Pamoja nyitiwa wangere Kenya, tuwe kitu kimoja, tuwachuka bila tuwachuchu jezi, tuwachu binafsi, tungane kama wa Kenya, tupeleke Kenya mbele.
Ruto, rais wetu mpendwa, tangu uongozi wako tumeona mazao, viwanda zinajengwa, chakula kwa taifa, nyumba na makao kwa bei nafuu, stima tunapata, ndio maana sisi twaomba Mungu akulinde, Yesaya akulinde, Ngai akulinde, Ogongo Nyakalaga akulinde. Tunakupenda sana, unafanya kazi nzuri kujenga taifa letu la Kenya. Yeah.
yani nice. It's all about love one time. We need the best see what them. Like to bambe see what them. Kupiga kura tusikose noti. Twende ati tuhakikishe kila kitu pete. Hamsini go to the 50. Folks in the adukienda east west. Tuko on track, kiza beat the latest. Wakenya twende Wakenya twende So kama inakubamba simama katika. It's all about love one time daima. Wakenya twende Wakenya twende So kama inakubamba simama katika. It's all about love one.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing, make some noise for Iane.
Ikibamba sana basi pull it up. Selector cheza doba once from the top. Tunisha speaker, we mash it up. Fire, we light it up. Tuko tao, CBD kwa penthouse. Wanadhani CBD ni guesswork, lakini jua bidi tunasosa. Na ni magrami tundo tunangoja. Dojo mabe, kwa mdomo ni kube. Na doba Johnny Mwaki ukipenda imele. Napendwa na mape, na wote Johnny Chen. Nikikusalimia unanijibu tu mabe. Napenda vile makala wamekuja wamebeba. Napenda vile mamanzi wamekuja wameiba. Ikibamba sana basi pull it up. Selector cheza doba once from the top. Tunisha speaker, we mash it up. Fire, we light it up.
How many are happy today? Walk up here, put up your hand. Make some noise for Iane. And now, ladies and gentlemen, joining Iane on stage. Make some noise for the incredible Trio Mio.
Ipeperushwe juu 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 sana. Bendera yetu Kenya ipeperushwe juu 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 sana. Sisi wa Kenya tunaweza.
Black, red and green. Najivunia sana maneno young, fresh and free. Niko huru, raia pariang ni clean. Patriot before mariga bebe Champions League. Kaza mlikuti bendera zipepe huu mwaka. Nasikia ripoti magari zinapita jumbaka. Moja ni nguvu suishi Harambee. Lazima magoti mapaja ndo upate kukaka. Mkenya halisi, nasikia ifiche inaonekana kwa rahisi. Bonge na pigo pena fando pena ishi. Tutamkona vijana wakipiga inchi.
Bendera yetu Kenya ipeperushwe juu 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 sana. Sisi wa Kenya
Kupa tupa cheza kama Lewandowski. Hivyo ndo tucheza mchuchi yo cheza kama we. Cheza kama we. Cheza
ushasikia tukiingia na kuklabu Kukwanga bado na tuklewa madam so anguka na itabaki meflow na vibe anguka na kuko single for now dagi pressure patikani hadi late night saa sita ndo tani wai niko pin location na ngofana na hii tukate call niko chomaya ji mimi najua utakuwa hadi acha nikushow kwanza form ni hadi don nishashika poa atonde chini kwa chini akiwa hadi na mimi sasa tunasikiza shit city tuna feel free take a video na post pale NGC jina ni challenge anguka nayo ati anguka nayo anguka nayo twende down low now stand up to your feet mikono juu alafu click fuliza pesa alafu one leg anguka nayo one leg anguka ati anguka nayo ati anguka nayo anguka nayo anguka nayo.
And now, help me invite to the stage one of the best female acts we have in Kenya right now. Everybody, bounce! Everybody, bounce! Make some noise for Brandy Maina!
Nipeni kupe, come to the dance floor way. Leo tuna festa fe banga ama tuta do it your way. Wacha mimi nise, usiniogope we. Leo na finesse na ujanja yeah. Leo nita maintain, Kenya hatuko back, sisi tuko front. Na majenzi come let's go. Kujeni niko bash in our bare form. Yeah, this the kind of love to make me wanna do it. And make me wanna show. My head, my place, my land, I'll stay. Your grace, my wish will last and
Ladies and gentlemen, coming next, the best group, what's in the ladies and gentlemen, today we celebrate a man whose legacy will live on. A statesman, a democracy champion, Joey.
energy. Synergy. Wakenya vimbada energy. Synergy. Okay, alright, ni shoti baba. Na ukicheki hapa nimetoka hapa na kauli ya mimi unaweza uliza shosho inalizunguka kwa soko wanafutoka ukoka sasi watoto wazongo tanuhuri ya kanoko tunashukuru niko sawa na mpasifa kama kawa so mina vimbada energy synergy. Wakenya vimbada energy. Synergy. Hata washosho wanavi, mapang na maudi wanavi, mabuda na vijana wanavi, Wakenya wote wanavi. Vimbada energy. Synergy. Wakenya vimbada energy. Synergy.
Yo, introducing on stage, Africa's best. Make some noise for Ghana. Mungu wangu wana, maskini na tajiri ana. Dumana mina, niko mikononi mwake. Mungu wangu wana, maskini na tajiri ana. Dumana mina, niko mikononi mwake. Ibilisi ananyeka, kuna watu wakiteki unabarikiwa sana wanateka. Anazidi kuleta mvua ya baraka na mabeka, inazidi kunyesha. Ibilisi ananyeta, kuna watu wakiteki unabarikiwa sana wanateka. Anazidi kuleta mvua ya baraka na mabeka, inazidi kunyesha. Asifuye mvua imemnyea, na msifu jua amenitendea. Hata wewe ukimkutia, najua atakutendea. Kuna wenye dhambi wengine takatifu, jua likiwa kali na wakia wote, wengine janja wengine waaminifu, mvua ikinyesha inawanyeshea wote. Mungu wangu wana, maskini na tajiri ana. Dumana mina, niko mikononi mwake. Mungu wangu wana, maskini na tajiri ana. Dumana mina, niko mikononi mwake. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get together na tuichenge Kenya. Kenya. Akina mama we, akina baba we, vijana we, akina mama we, akina baba we,
Kenya. Mheshimiwa Rais, hiyo burudani utakubaliana nami kwamba ni noma na ni fire.
Mheshimiwa Rais, hapo ndipo tunalikuja javi la burudani yetu siku ya leo. Sasa tunarejea kwake Bwana Michael Gitonga aendelee na ratiba iliyosalia. Kwako Bwana Michael.
Asanteni sana. Tuwapigie makofi tena mara nyingine. Watu wametuletea burudani safi kabisa. Mheshimiwa Rais, sasa naomba unikubalie nimkaribishe gavana wa Nairobi Johnson Arthur Sakaja. Karibu gavana Nairobi County.
Asante sana. Kweli burudani imeanza. Tarehe 12 ndio sherehe huanza rasmi. Na hiyo sio ya mwisho. Tukitoka hapa, mtukufu Rais, tunawakaribisha nyote kule Uhuru Park kwa Nairobi Festival ambayo inaanza leo hadi tarehe 14 ili tuweze kupata burudani kama hii na tushangilie utamaduni wetu. Hao wasanii wetu si wameweza? Hao wasanii wetu ni fire si fire? Ni noma si noma? Your Excellency Mheshimiwa Daktari William Samoei Ruto, Amri Jeshi, Rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya na Amri Jeshi Mkuu wa Majeshi ya Ulinzi, Mama Rachel Ruto ambaye tunamuenzi na kumpenda, Rais John Dramani Mahama, Rais wa Ghana, Makamu wa Rais Kithure Kindiki na pia Bi Kithure, maspika wa bunge, wageni wetu wote ambao wako hapa, Chief Justice wetu Martha Koome. Rais, tuko na viongozi wengi ambao wamefika hapa leo, wakiwemo wabunge wakiongozwa na mbunge wa Lang'ata na pia kiongozi wa walio wengi katika bunge la kitaifa Mheshimiwa Kimani Ichung'wah. Tuko na naibu wa gavana wa Nairobi, mawaziri na wengi zaidi. Rais, yangu hayatakuwa mengi leo hii. Mheshimiwa Rais, tumejionea kufuata mada ambayo tuko nayo, na ni muhimu tukumbuke ya kwamba miaka 62 iliyopita hapa katika kaunti hii, si mbali na tulipo leo, bendera yetu ilipepea juu ya watu uhuru katika nchi yao wao wenyewe. Kilomita chache kutoka hapa tuliposimama leo katika bustani la Uhuru palikuwa kambi ya wakoloni. Mheshimiwa Rais, wengi walitoa uhai wao hapo, maelfu wengine waliteseka katika kambi mbalimbali kote nchini. Hii ndio ilikuwa gharama ya ukombozi wetu kama taifa. Tunaweza anza wapi kulipa deni hii? kwa wale waliotangulia, ila kwa kuwakumbuka sio tu kwa mafanikio yao pekee, bali pia kwa maadili yao. Miongoni wa mashujaa wa Nairobi alikuwa ni Tom Mboya. Tom Mboya alisimama imara katika msimamo wake hata ilipokuwa haipendwi au ilipokuwa sio rahisi. Alikuwa mwenye kujenga katika ukosoaji wake na hakuchoka kamwe, hakuchoka kwa uzalendo wake. Mimi kama mtu ambaye aliyatumia maisha yangu yote katika utumishi wa umma, nakiri na kusema ya kwamba kiwango hicho alichoweka ni kigumu kukifikia. Kiongozi mwingine ambao ni shujaa wa Nairobi alikuwa ni Raila Amolo Odinga. Baba Raila Amolo Odinga, sisi kama watu wa Nairobi tunamenzi. Ndiye alikuwa mbunge ambaye amehudumu kwa muda mrefu, na hii kwa sisi sote ndio siku ya jamhuri ya kwanza bila baba wetu. Tunaomba ya kwamba Mungu azidi kumlaza pema, na ile ambayo tunaweza fanya ni kuiga mfano ambayo alituachia. Tunawakumbuka hawa mashujaa wetu na kuwaenzi ili kuhifadhi matendo yao na kuyapitisha kwa watoto wetu kwa ajili ya kesho. Pili, tunawakumbuka ili kuwaiga, tukijifunza kutoka kwa mafanikio yao na pia kwa makosa yao, ili kwa wakati ufaao mafanikio yetu kama Wakenya yaweze kulinganishwa na yao. Tatu, ni lazima tukamilishe kazi walioweka misingi. Wao waliweka msingi, jukumu letu ni kujenga jengo ambalo linastahili heshima ambao wametuachia. Hatutishwi na wajibu ambao tumeachiwa kama viongozi, kwa sababu tunajua na tunaifanya kwa imani na matumaini, tukiyakumbuka maneno ya Wafilipi 1:6 ya kwamba yeye alianzisha kazi njema ndani yenu ataikamilisha. He who began a good work will be faithful to complete it. Mheshimiwa Rais na viongozi, je, hatujaona tayari mabadiliko katika maisha yetu? Kuanzia wakati ambapo tulipata jamhuri hii, hata mimi kusimama hapa ni mfano, kwa sababu jiji hili miaka hiyo hata hakuwa na diwani mmoja Mwafrika, lakini sasa jiji linaongozwa na gavana ambaye amechaguliwa moja kwa moja na wananchi. The fact that we can self-determine must never be taken for granted as a republic. Kauli mbiu ya mwaka huu inaunganisha dhana hizi, dhana ambayo ilikuwa Raila Amolo Odinga na Tom Mboya, which was their internationalism. It was also the nature in which they were not tribal, they were not tied into a cocoon of their community or of their tribe, but they thought in a very modern way, in a very contemporary fashion, and that goes hand in hand with what our theme is today. Kauli mbiu ya mwaka huu inaunganisha busara hizo mbili. Nianze kwa kutambua kwa ustamilivu, ubunifu na mafanikio ya sekta ya utalii na ukarimu au hospitality, hasa hapa Nairobi. Nairobi imeendelea kuwa kiini cha uimara wa sekta hii. Ukiangalia vituo vya kuwasili nchini, miundombinu ya Nairobi ndio ya kwanza. Na ukiangalia idadi ya ziara, hifadhi ya taifa hapa Nairobi, Mheshimiwa Rais, imekuwa na wageni wapatao 500,000 kwa mwaka tu ambao uliopita. Tunakaribisha wageni kila siku na tunaendelea kujizatiti katika sekta hii. Vile tumesikia waigizaji wetu wakituonesha, na Wakenya lazima tuelewe, mtalii sio ati lazima iwe ni mzungu. Pia sisi tunaweza kuwa ni watalii. Wangapi wenu mmetembea katika Nairobi National Park? Wangapi wenu mmefika katika Giraffe Center? Sisi kama Wakenya tujaribu pia kutembea na kujua taifa letu. Mheshimiwa Rais, sitaki kusema mengi ila pia ni kukushukuru kwa sababu kwa muda huu, kwa mwaka ambao umepita, tumeona kwamba umetushikilia kama makaunti na pia Nairobi. Pamoja na wewe tumeweza kufanya kazi nyingi, kujenga mabarabara, watu wetu wanaziona zinaendelea katika maeneo yote ya jiji la Nairobi. Tunakushukuru na tunajua kwa mwaka ambao unakuja tutaweza kufanya kazi nyingi zaidi. Jameni wa Kenya, tumpigie rais wetu makofi. Tunajua kwamba mwaka ujao sherehe hii itafanywa katika uwanja mpya wa Talanta ambayo unaendelea kule Lang'ata Road. Sijui kama utatukubali. Na sisi kama watu wa Nairobi tunakuomba uwanja huo uite Raila Odinga International Stadium ili kumkumbuka baba wetu ambaye alituacha. Au sio? Tunakubalia watu wa Nairobi? Tunakubalia. Rais, umeona sauti ya wananchi, na sauti ya wananchi ni sauti ya Mungu. Wanasema nirudie. Tunaomba rais wetu mpendwa William Samoei Arap Ruto ya kwamba mwaka ujao sherehe hii ifanyike katika Talanta Stadium, na kama watu wa Nairobi tunakuomba uipe jina Raila Odinga International Stadium. Sauti ya mwananchi ni sauti ya Mungu. Wacha nisiseme zaidi kupita hapo, ili kuwakumbusha ya kwamba sherehe imeanza. Na waomba watu wangu wa Nairobi, mkisafiri kwenda Ushago ama Ocha, muwe waangalifu kwa barabara ili muweze kurudi salama. Tunaomba madereva wetu, do not drink and drive. Tusipoteze watu wetu, tusiendeshe kiolela, ili tuweze kurudi tuwe na mwaka wa 2026. On behalf of the people of Nairobi, I wish all of you a Merry Christmas and a prosperous 2026. Mungu awabariki. Asanteni.
Makofi ya Governor. Your Excellency, the theme for Jamhuri Day 2025 is tourism, wildlife, meetings, incentives, conferences and events, otherwise known as MICE. And allow me at this point to usher in the Cabinet Secretary for Tourism and Wildlife, Honorable Rebecca Miano, to make a brief statement. Tumkaribishe kwa makofi tafadhali. Karibu Waziri.
Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, guided by His Excellency the President's vision, today we reintroduce Kenya to the world through a tourism manifesto anchored in magical Kenya, the origin of wonder. The manifesto, please.
Before the world had maps, there was Kenya. Before language, there was rhythm. Before time had a name, there were footsteps across this red earth. This is not just a place. It's a pulse. It's the breath of the wild. The whisper of ancestors in the wind. The drumbeat in your chest you thought was yours alone. Come here and unlearn. Trade your inbox for a horizon. Trade reception bars for baobab trees. Come walk barefoot through the origin of everything. Life, flavor, fire, soul. Because Kenya is not a destination, it's the birthplace of awe, the homeland of wonder, the reset the modern world forgot it needed. You don't visit Kenya, you remember it, you return to it, you wake up in it. This is magical Kenya, the origin of wonder. Welcome back.
It is now my pleasure to invite His Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Professor Kithure Kindiki.
Kenya hoye! Jameni wananchi, nchi yetu ya Kenya ni fire si fire. Jameni wananchi, rais wetu William Ruto ni fire si fire. Kwa mara ya mwisho, wananchi wa Kenya ni fire si fire. Mr. President William Ruto, the President of the Republic of Kenya, and Commander-in-Chief of our Defense Forces, First Lady Rachel Ruto, the visiting head of state, the President of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency John Mahama, all dignitaries present, all protocols observed. Mr. President, this generation will never pay fully the sacrifice and the debt of those who paid the ultimate price and sacrifice for the independence of our country. Mr. President, fellow Kenyans, we will also not pay fully the debt imposed on us by those who fought for the expansion of the civil and political liberties that we enjoy today. The last thing I want to say, Mr. President, before I invite a few guests to say hi in 1 minute, is to say, as we move into the future of our country, building on the foundation of those who fought for the freedom and liberty of our country, building on the hard work of those who fought for the expansion of civil and political liberties that we enjoy today. We look forward, under your leadership, Mr. President, to firm up on that foundation and that hard work and expand on the empowerment and the socio-economic liberty for the people of Kenya. And therefore, going into the future, we will push under your leadership for a country where all its citizens do not just enjoy the freedom of expression and the freedom of the media, but they also enjoy freedom from hunger, freedom from sickness, and freedom from all the dangers that threaten human survival, especially poverty and the other economic perils that endanger our sustainability and our survival. Mr. President, before I invite you, allow me to give 2 people 1 minute each to say hi and to say jambo. And I want to recognize all the dignitaries present today. The President of the Republic of Ghana will be introduced by his counterparts and host, President William Ruto. But allow me, Mr. President, to recognize the following dignitaries who are present and joining us today in this auspicious occasion. His Excellency Prosper Bazobaza, Vice President of Burundi, His Excellency Robina Nabanja, Prime Minister of the Republic of Uganda. We have in our midst also the Honorable William Aukam, Minister for Forestry and Fisheries and Environment of the Republic of South Africa. We have in our midst the Honorable William Lukuvi, Minister of State in the Prime Minister's Office from the United Republic of Tanzania. We have in our midst the Honorable Dr. Benedict Arakwiye, Minister of Environment of the Republic of Rwanda. Honorable Amna Damak Ashmamsi, Minister for Climate Change and Environment of the United Arab Emirates. The Honorable Vania Gava, Deputy Minister for the Environment from Italy. And Mr. President, as you are aware, Nairobi City in Kenya is hosting the United Nations Environmental Ministers representing their countries. So we have UNEA, which is the forum, the highest decision-making forum on matters environment, representing ministers of environment from all over the world who are meeting here in Gigiri, in Nairobi City. 87 ministers are present also because of the ongoing UNEA meeting in Nairobi. Mr. President, on behalf of all the visiting dignitaries, I want to give 1 minute to the Vice President of Burundi to say hi before I invite the Prime Minister of Uganda to say hi, and finally I invite President William Ruto to address the nation. Mr. Vice President.
His Excellency Dr. William Samuel Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya, and Rashid Ruto, First Lady of the Republic of Kenya, His Excellency Kithure Kindiki, Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, His Excellency the President of the Republic of Ghana, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. On behalf of His Excellency, the General Major Evariste Ndayishimiye, President of the Republic of Burundi, that I have the honor to present today to other commitments, and on behalf of the people of the Republic of Burundi, allow me express excellencies, extend my great congratulations to the government and the people of the Republic of Kenya on this remarkable occasion. This event is very important as it represents values that a nation together, freedom, dignity, and the right to shape one's own destiny. On this special day, It is my great pleasure to wish you peace, prosperity, and friendship continue to grow stronger. Once again, congratulations on Independence Day. May the spirit freedom keep us united and strong always. Happy Jamhuri Day. Thank you. Congratulations again.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, Vice President of Burundi. Your Excellency, sir, it is now my pleasure to invite for a minute the Prime Minister of the Republic of Uganda, Her Excellency Robina Nabanja, to say jambo and hand over to you, sir, a special message from your brother and counterpart, President Yoweri Museveni of Uganda.
Your Excellency, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I bring you warm greetings from your brother, General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the President of the Republic of Uganda. He was unable to come because Uganda is undergoing an electoral process. He, however, sent me to represent him. I am the Prime Minister of the Republic of Uganda. I've been given 1 minute. Let me hand over the message to you, Your Excellency, on behalf of the President and the people of Uganda. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Makofi tafadhali, makofi. Thank you very much. Fellow Kenyans, brothers and sisters, I think we have come to the apex of today's celebrations. I now request that we be upstanding as I welcome His Excellency, President William Samoei Ruto, to come and address the nation. Ni fire, si fire.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Naibu wa Rais. Tafadhali nawaomba tunaweza kuketi chini. Wananchi wa Nairobi hoye! Kanairo hoye! Wakenya hoye! Jamhuri hoye! Basi, kabla sijatoa taarifa yangu kwa taifa letu la Kenya, nyinyi mnajua kati yetu tuko na marafiki wengi ambao wametutembelea. Na leo tuko na mgeni, and I want in a very special way on behalf of the government and people of Kenya to thank our brother and friend, the President of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency John Mahama Dramani, for finding time to come and be with us to celebrate this 62nd Jamhuri Day in Kenya. Your Excellency, we don't take for granted that you have been a close friend of Kenya. And our two nations, Ghana and Kenya, have a long, proud history of friendship, starting with the founding father of your country and the founding father of our country. Allow me now to ask His Excellency President John Mahama Dramani kutusalimia. Your Excellency, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, my brother, the President of the Republic of Kenya, William Ruto, let me acknowledge your beautiful wife, the First Lady of Kenya. I bring you greetings from the people of Ghana, and to say that on this day, your 62nd Jamhuri Day, the people of Ghana are in solidarity with their brothers and sisters in Kenya. On this day, we pay respect to the memory of our forebears who fought for our freedom, and we do not take their sacrifice for granted. The friendship between our independence leaders, Mzee Jomo Kenyatta and Kwame Nkrumah, has become an enduring flame that has continued to bind our two countries together. Our forebears won us political independence. It is the responsibility of our current generation of African leadership to win economic independence and prosperity for our people. Africa faces many challenges, including a global order that is rigged against it. We face systems that make us suppliers of unprocessed raw materials and importers of finished products. The time has come for us to add value to Africa's exports. The time has come for us to claim a fairer share of our natural resource endowment. The time has come for us to provide transparent and accountable leadership. The time has come for us to unleash the creativity and energies of our young people. We must increase trade amongst ourselves, and so we commend the protocol on the African Continental Free Trade Area. We must show Pan-African solidarity with all members of the African diaspora, and that's why I wish to express the sincerest appreciation of the people of Ghana to the people of Kenya for your timely intervention in Haiti to bring relief to the long-suffering people of Haiti. Ghana also, in the spirit of Pan-African solidarity, is sending troops from our 48th Engineers Regiment to help Jamaica in its rebuilding efforts after the devastating Hurricane Melissa. Kenya continues to be a respected member of the African Union and other international bodies. And so Ghana wishes Kenya well on this very auspicious occasion. And finally, before I resume my seat, accept my personal condolence and the sympathy of all Ghanaians on the passing of a great statesman, Mzee Raila Odinga. May God grant him peaceful rest. Long live Kenya, long live Africa, long live Kenya-Ghana relations. Asante sana.
Your Excellencies, distinguished friends, fellow citizens, I have always observed this day with two emotions held in tension: deep gratitude to our forefathers and a restless question for ourselves. Have we been faithful stewards of the freedom they won, and have we truly advanced the nation they left in our hands? I shall return to these questions later. But first, today we gather not just to mark a date on the calendar, but to honor a legacy written in sacrifice, courage, and unbreakable resolve. A legacy forged by men and women who stared imperial power in the face and declared with unshakable conviction that Kenya would be free. Their struggle planted our republic on the firm foundation of liberty, unity, and democracy. They gave us more than a flag. They
gave us a future. 62 years ago, the brave architects of our nation placed in our hands the priceless gift of political independence. On this very day, 62 years ago, our forefathers lowered the Union Jack and raised the flag of our nation. But that victory was not given easily. It was bought at an immense cost. The road to our nationhood was carved by the unbreakable spirit of our freedom fighters, men and women who refused to bow to the humiliation of colonial rule. From villages to towns, from farms to factories, to classrooms and marketplaces, Kenyans from all walks of life rose as one, declaring that our humanity would not be diminished, delayed, or denied. And when brute force was unleashed against them, their determination outlasted it. Thousands paid the ultimate price. Many more were detained. Whole communities were uprooted. Punishment, pain, exile, and prison became the tools of repression. But what no empire could crush was their determination, resolve, and the unity of purpose. Across ethnicities, across regions, across class and creed, they became a force history itself could neither silence nor stop. Their sacrifice opened the path to self-rule. Their courage delivered the independence we celebrate today. And it is upon their shoulders that our republic stands strong. The architects of our nation overcame the trials of their time. While our challenges are different, their lesson is eternal. They rose to the dictates of their moment. It was not easy, but it was necessary. And because they did it, we are here today. So, today, fellow citizens, history turns its gaze upon us and asks, faced with the challenges of our time, have we stepped up as they did? When he took the oath of office, Mzee Jomo Kenyatta warned us that independence would mean nothing if it did not improve the daily lives of ordinary citizens. Tom Mboya reminded the nation that the greatest struggle, and indeed the hardest struggle, was not political independence alone, but development itself, the economic empowerment of our people, and the unlocking of their full potential. They stood and they understood that freedom was only the beginning, that the deeper battle would be against poverty that chains potential, against disease that steals opportunity, and against ignorance that dims human possibility. And so today, we are gathered to mark Jamhuri Day. We do more than remember history. We honor the architects of our nation for giving us the first great watershed period in our nation building, political independence. Just as the first generation rejected colonial domination and set out to confront the new enemies of poverty, disease, and ignorance in all their forms, they discovered that independence did not amount to freedom in its full and fullest sense. Along independent Kenya's history, power became centralized. Dissent was silenced. Competition was crushed. Fear replaced hope. Once again, however, Kenyans rose, and from their struggle emerged the agitation for democracy, human rights, and the rule of law. In the darkest days when it was dangerous to speak, brave Kenyans spoke. When it was illegal to organize, courageous Kenyans organized. Students, clergy, lawyers, journalists, workers, and politicians stood firm against detention, against torture, against exile, and even death, so that Kenya could break and breathe again. This generation of courage produced towering figures whose sacrifice expanded the democratic space we enjoy today. Foremost among them was the late Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, a stalwart of our country's democratic journey, who left us just under 2 months ago. Raila devoted his life to the pursuit of freedom, justice, and peaceful coexistence. His courage, resilience, and unwavering belief in the power of the people shaped defining chapters of our national story and inspired generations to believe that change is possible. I now respectfully urge all of us to join me in observing a 1 minute of silence in honor and remembrance of the Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga and honor his sacrifice, service, and enduring legacy. Tafadhali nawaomba tusimame kwa dakika moja kwa heshima ya kiongozi wetu Raila Amolo Odinga. Asanteni sana. Asanteni sana. May his spirit continue to guide our nation forward. His resolve, as well as the resolve of our forefathers, gave us the 2010 Constitution, a charter that restored the sovereignty of the people, restrained imperial power, entrenched rights, and devolved government and authority to the grassroots. But it promised something even greater. It guaranteed economic and social justice. It declared that health, housing, food, water, education, and social security were not favors. They were fundamental rights. It was a bold promise. It was a moral imperative. It was the unfinished dream of both the independence and subsequent generations. Yet today, with honesty and humility, we must admit that this promise remains incomplete. Yes, progress has been made, but the deeper promise, a Kenya where every citizen lives with dignity and shared prosperity, remains unfulfilled. For too long, stagnation has returned in cycles. Negativity has been normalized, and too many have been asked to make peace with mediocrity. That is why Before the last election, we had already realized that although we had achieved political independence and our constitution expanded our democratic human rights and the rule of law, we still had not fully consolidated our nation. These two milestones, great as they were, had over time been undermined by the paradox of the marginalization of the majority. We saw clearly a system in which a few rose to the top of the pyramid, while millions at the base struggled to survive, with education outcomes compromised, healthcare beyond reach, access to affordable credit denied, housing unattainable, and farmers abandoned while our youth were locked out. That is the reason we introduced the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, to bring the marginalized majority back into the heart of our nation, to ensure that no one is left behind, and to begin the work of social engineering necessary to pursue the broader dream of economic freedom. We had to begin where marginalization and exclusion had been greatest, that is at the bottom. And so, over the last 3 years, we have made bold choices. They have delivered results that are unprecedented, unmistakable, and consequential. For years, we spoke of agriculture as the bedrock of our economy and farmers as our pillars. But the truth is, we did not truly know them, and neither did we truly prioritize them. Today we do. For the first time in our history, over 7.2 million farmers have been brought into the single national digital database. We now know who they are, where they are, what they grow, and what they need. And with that knowledge came the power, not for brokers, not for cartels, but for the farmer. This digital platform became and is the backbone of targeted support, including subsidized inputs, affordable credit, and modern extension services reaching real farmers directly. We lowered the cost of production. We brought the price of fertilizer down. And in so doing, we restored profitability to the smallholder farmer who produces over 70% of our food. Fellow citizens, the results are undeniable. Maize production is up. Prices of flour is down. The tea sector is rising. Coffee is rebounding. Dairy is expanding. And the sugar industry has been reformed. By strengthening value chains, cooperatives, irrigation, and processing, we have built systems that work for our agricultural sector. And now, with millions of farmers no longer forgotten, we are ready to walk with them to the next chapter of economic freedom. 3 years ago, education was in distress. Classrooms were overcrowded. Many universities were technically insolvent, and teachers were overwhelmed. Today, we have hired 76,000 teachers, and by next month, a total of 100,000 teachers, the largest recruitment of teachers in Kenya's history. We have built 23,000 new classrooms, and 1,600 laboratories are under construction across the nation. Importantly, through the student-centered funding model, we placed the learner at the heart of our reforms. For the first time in our history, scholarships and loans now follow need and merit, ensuring that every deserving student has a chance and a just and equal opportunity to pursue their dreams. Nearly 500,000 students have already benefited from this funding model. Students who, under previous systems, would have been excluded by policies that failed to recognize them. This reform has lifted the financial burden from families and enabled students to choose courses that align with their talents, with their aspirations, and with the needs of our nation. Our healthcare, we have another irrevocable decision that no Kenyan should be too poor to live. For decades, universal healthcare was spoken of, but in our time, it is being actualized. We engaged 110,000 community health promoters who are now reaching millions who were once excluded, forgotten, and without access to health care. CHPs have already visited over 9 million households, screening millions of Kenyans for various ailments, including diabetes and hypertension. At the same time, we built a unified health information system that now gives us full visibility of our health facilities, patients, their progress, enabling us to track healthcare delivery in real time. Today, over 28 million Kenyans are registered under the Social Health Authority, up from 8 million under the old system. That means 19 million Kenyans who were once forgotten are now in the healthcare equation. Among them are 2.3 million vulnerable Kenyans, orphans, widows, and the elderly, whose healthcare is now fully paid by the government of Kenya. Healthcare was never meant to be a privilege. It is a constitutional right. And with the realization of this right, we are ready to work with all Kenyans into the next chapter of economic freedom. For the millions of Kenyans without employment, we moved beyond diagnosing the job crisis to deliberately creating opportunities through the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. For decades, housing, while being a constitutional right, was promised but never delivered. Housing is not just about shelter. It is collateral. It is graded worthiness. It is stability. And it is the first step out of poverty. In just 3 years, through our housing program, over 240,000 affordable homes, hostels for 180,000 students, 30,000 institutional housing for our military, police, and prison officers, and over 400 new markets for our traders are under construction across all our 47 counties. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the largest public infrastructure transformation ever undertaken, not just in Kenya, but also in our region. So far, standing at an investment of 650 billion. Through this program, more than 480,000 Kenyans have secured jobs and enterprise opportunities across 300 active sites, from artisans to technicians to engineers and architects, shaping a new skyline in Kenya. We have ring-fenced billions of shillings for the Juakali sector, fully integrating their long-neglected engine of craftsmanship into the national construction value chain. Today, Juakali artisans supply doors, windows, fittings, furniture, and fabricated material to projects in our affordable housing program across Kenya. In the digital and creative economy, we have trained 2 million Kenyans in digital skills, and nearly 300,000 are already earning income. Through the Kazi Maju program, nearly 500,000 Kenyans have secured well-paying job opportunities abroad in the last 3 years. We have also launched the Kenya shillings 20 billion Nyota program to support 820,000 young people with training, with mentorship, certification, and business capital. The first phase is complete, with 12,500 beneficiaries already receiving their first business support, and the national program is now being rolled out across the country. Together, these actions reflect one clear national purpose: to open doors of opportunity for our youth, equip them to succeed, and empower Kenya's greatest strength, our young people, to lead us towards prosperity and economic sovereignty. As more students live in decent accommodation, as more traders conduct their business in dignified settings, and as more public servants get access to housing, we are fulfilling our constitutional mandate. And with that foundation secured, we are ready to walk with all our people into the next chapter of economic freedom. Ladies and gentlemen, through the bottom-up economic transformation plan, we have consolidated the gains of political independence and the democratic freedoms won. Through deliberate social engineering, we have built systems that ensure no Kenyan is left behind. And having ensured that we are carrying everybody along, we now have both the opportunity and the firm foundation to charge forward into the next chapter of our national journey, Kenya's economic freedom. With the measures we have put in place to restore dignity, inclusion, and opportunity, we must now press on. It is time to step up from the bottom up, charging forward full steam to economic freedom and take Kenya to a first world economy. Before we accelerated this ambitious agenda, we took the difficult but necessary steps to stabilize our economy and restore fiscal discipline. Inflation has fallen from 9.6% in 2022 to 4.5% last month. The shilling has stabilized at about 129 shillings to the dollar for nearly 2 years. Our foreign exchange reserves now exceed $12 billion, the highest in independent Kenya. Our successful Eurobond redemption reaffirmed to the world that Kenya honors its obligations. Our economy has grown and is now the 6th largest economy in Africa. At the same time, we have made bold national decisions to save more of our income. Through the new NSSF contributions, the fund that had mobilized Kenya shillings 312 billion from independence to 2023 has now grown to 670 billion in just 2 years. We established the Financial Inclusion Fund as a strategic intervention to correct deep market failure, one that had denied millions of Kenyans access to affordable credit, one that had blacklisted in CRBs, disregarded by banks. They had been left trapped in frustration and despair. Today, Hustler Fund has become one of the most transformative instruments of empowerment in our nation's history, disbursing over 80 billion and expanding the margins of financial inclusion at an unprecedented scale. Over 9 million Kenyans are now repeat customers, and more than 7 million who were previously CRB blacklisted have successfully repaired their credit histories. It has restored dignity to millions. It has brought them back into the equation. They are no longer left behind. Ladies and gentlemen, these reforms have stabilized our economy, restored investor confidence, and enhanced Kenya's creditworthiness. As we set out on this path of economic independence, let us remember that we are not the first to stand at such a crossroads. Nations like South Korea, Singapore, Hong Kong, and Malaysia once stood where we stand today, with limited resources, modest means, but armed with immense courage, determination, and ambition. Prosperity was not handed to them. They reached out for it. They rejected the ordinary. They refused to be prisoners of their circumstances. They believed in themselves and invested in their people. They were patriotic to their nation's cause and demanded excellence of themselves. Today, they stand as first world economies, not by accident, but by deliberate design, by intentional choice, and by purposeful conviction. Ladies and gentlemen, Kenya can, must, and will do the same and more. Let me repeat. Kenya can, must, and will do the same and more. 3 weeks ago, during the State of the Nation address, I laid before Kenyans this administration's bold and ambitious Kenya shillings 5 trillion roadmap to transform our nation into a first world economy and to secure our full economic freedom. That roadmap is anchored on 3 unshakable national priorities. First, history teaches us that no nation ever prospered on poor roads, inefficient ports, and congested airports. Modern transport and logistics drive productivity, reduce the cost of doing business, and creates trade, business, and innovation and investment hubs. Our 10-year roadmap on road, rail, ports, and airports, and oil pipeline infrastructure includes the expansion of strategic highways connecting our major cities, industrial zones, markets, border points, and agricultural belts to move people, goods, and services faster, safer, and more affordably. We have mapped out 2,500 kilometers of highway for dualing and 28,000 kilometers of road across the Republic for tarmacking. With this, we are stitching our country together, linking towns to cities, farms to factories, and Kenya to the wider region. Last week, fellow citizens, we moved from promise to action when we officially launched the construction of the Nairobi-Nakuru-Mau Summit Road and the Nairobi-NYAYO-Naivasha Road, an investment of over 180 billion in a modern 223-kilometer multi-lane dual carriageway delivered through a public-private partnership model. In February 2026, just in 3 months from now, we will begin extending the standard gauge railway from Naivasha to Kisumu and Malaba. And later in the year, extend the oil pipeline from Eldoret to Uganda, opening a new transport corridor with our neighbors and with the continent. At the same time, we will modernize Jomo Kenyatta International Airport and several other airports to enhance connectivity and ease the movement of people, goods, and services. The Port of Mombasa and Lamu are also on course for modernization and commercialization, undertaken through innovative private-public partnerships that include long-term concessioneering. Charging forward, our infrastructure expansion will provide the foundational support for a strong and resilient economy that will drive transformative development for all of us. Number two, fellow citizens, we must decisively shift our economy from dependence on imports to becoming a net exporter of agricultural products, manufactured goods, and value-added commodities. Kenya today spends nearly 500 billion shillings every year importing agricultural products. While we have reduced imports of maize, sugar, edible oil, rice, our progress is still constrained by the limitations of rain-fed agriculture. We can no longer leave the country's food security to the uncertainties of rainfall, especially in the context of climate change. To feed our people and produce surplus for export, large-scale modern irrigation is the only viable pathway forward. We have mapped out 50 mega dams, 200 mini dams, and over 1,000 macro dams across all our 47 counties, especially in our arid and semi-arid areas, which have expansive, fertile, and arable land currently not under production because of lack of water. With this plan, an additional 2.5 million acres of land will be brought under agricultural productivity through extensive water harvesting, water storage, and advanced irrigation technologies. This is not only about food and water security. It is a nation-shaping investment. It will drive our transition into a net exporting economy. It will uplift rural communities and end the indignity and shame of food insecurity. And it will anchor sustainable development for generations ahead. Charging forward, investing in modern irrigation, will supply adequate quantity, good quality, and reliable raw materials required to power agro-industrialization. Through our special economic zones, export processing zones, and county aggregation and industrial parks, and our strategic market infrastructure across Kenya, these raw agricultural materials will be transformed into high-value products for domestic, regional, and global markets. Third, fellow citizens, energy is the lifeblood of any modern economy. Although Kenya's installed capacity stands at 3,300 megawatts, the intermittency of solar and wind leaves us with a firm capacity of only 2,300 megawatts, which is far below the demands of the Kenya we are building. To power our domestic consumption, agro-processing, and value-addition industries, e-mobility, digital expansion, and a future driven by data centers, artificial intelligence, and modern technologies, we must scale up energy generation exponentially. Kenya possesses extensive and largely untapped renewable resources, including geothermal, solar, hydro, wind, and nuclear, ready for development and for generation. Charging forward to modernize our economy, accelerate our development, and compete globally, we must and will generate at least 10,000 megawatts of new energy over the next 7 years. Fellow citizens, to finance this 5 trillion national economic freedom project, relying solely on national budget would leave us waiting forever. Borrowing would only deepen our debt and burden future generations. Raising taxes would place unbearable strain on households. And choosing inaction would condemn our nation to stagnation. That is why we must act with courage, innovation, and foresight to design alternative financing mechanisms, leverage mature national assets, and tap into robust public-private partnerships to undertake this national development imperative. Fellow citizens, 3 weeks ago, I signed the Government-Owned Enterprises Bill into law. The new law revolutionizes the management and governance of state-owned enterprises, professionalizing boards through merit-based independent appointments, and tying leadership to measurable results. This is a very consequential reform. It is the most far-reaching reform of government corporations since independence, aimed at turning legacy parastatals into commercially disciplined companies that will serve our public interest. The passage of this law ends the era of cronyism and patronage in our state-owned enterprises. This law explicitly disqualifies any person who has served in a public or political office within the last 5 years from appointment. On Monday, under this new legal framework, and to start this administration's bold and ambitious Kenya shillings 5 trillion roadmap to transform our nation, the Cabinet will meet to consider and approve the architecture of the National Infrastructure Fund as the engine that will align our financial resources with our development goals. Through innovative mobilization of domestic resources, strategic monetization of mature national assets, democratization of ownership through capital markets, and innovative deployment of national savings, we will unlock large-scale private sector capital to fund our national priorities while reducing reliance on borrowing and taxation. For decades, Kenya privatized major assets including Kenya Airways, Kenyan, Kenya Re, and Safaricom. Yet the proceeds were absorbed into the budget, paying salaries and debts, leaving no enduring national assets behind. Through the National Infrastructure Fund, all privatization proceeds will be ring-fenced and invested strictly into public infrastructure development that generate and preserve more value. This principle is already being actualized. Proceeds from the current privatization processes will be channeled directly into the fund, setting a new national standard where national assets create lasting public value. Our goal is simple. For every shilling in the National Infrastructure Fund, we will attract 10 more shillings from long-term investors, including pension funds, sovereign partners, private equity funds, and development finance institutions, allowing us to develop without the constraints that come with debt and taxation. The National Infrastructure Fund will not just be a financing instrument, it will be a generational strategy to mobilize capital, accelerate delivery, preserve value, and secure Kenya's long-term competitiveness. To secure future generations, again on Monday, the Cabinet will consider and approve the Sovereign Wealth Fund policy, anchored on 3 pillars, including savings for future generations, stabilization against global shocks, and strategic national investments. Natural resource royalties, dividends from public investments, and a percentage of privatization proceeds will capitalize this fund. This fund will impose on us the obligation of intergenerational equity, bringing to life Article 201C of the Constitution, which demands that the burdens and benefits of the use of resources and public borrowing shall be shared equitably between the present and future without shortchanging future generations. With these 2 instruments, the National Infrastructure Fund and the Sovereign Wealth Fund, we shall begin the journey to the transformation that will lead us from the bottom up, charging forward full steam to economic freedom and taking Kenya to a first world economy. And I have said, it is beginning next Monday. But fellow citizens, even the strongest financial systems, boldest infrastructure plans, and most ambitious economic strategies will fail if we do not secure the foundation of our national character. The realization of our economic freedom project will rest on 3 critical enablers: strategic human capital development, robust peace, stability, and security architecture, and unwavering integrity and fidelity to the national interest. To bolster human capital development, we have made bold investments in education, skills development, science, and innovation. We have raised the education budget from 490 billion in 2021 to 700 billion this financial year, and expanded science, technology, engineering, mathematics education. But to power our first world strategic human capital requirements, we must and will raise the National Research Fund from the current 0.8% to the requisite 2% of GDP. This is not, ladies and gentlemen, spending or social spending. It is nation building. The second enabler underpinning this national project is peace, stability, and security. For no nation can prosper in an atmosphere of disruption, violence, and criminality that leads to economic sabotage, destruction of property, and loss of lives. Stability is not an option. It is an enabler of everything we seek to build. Serious investors will not commit their investments in a country. Only serious investors will only commit their investments in a country that is peaceful, that is stable, and that is secure. For Kenya to attract sustained investment, for businesses to thrive, for jobs to expand, and for families to live without fear, we must secure our nation firmly, fairly, and without hesitation. Finally, the collective interests of all citizens, which form the national interest of Kenya, must be at the center of every action and engagement. Patriotism is putting the interests of the nation before tribe, clan, or self. Integrity in its highest form is patriotism in action. It is believing in our country. It is refusing to betray Kenya. And yet, let us speak honestly, our nation faces a serious integrity deficit. It begins early in our homes, in our schools, where seemingly harmless dishonesty later matures into grand corruption. Corruption is not merely theft of money. It is the theft of hope, opportunity, and destiny. This is compounded by negativity, division, erosion of shared values, and ethical and ethnic political mobilization. Hate and division, corruption and tribalism tear at the very social fabric of our republic. Ladies and gentlemen, our economic freedom project demands more than infrastructure and capital. It demands a renewal of our national conscience. We must build a strong value system. We must defend our national unity. We must raise our children in honesty, responsibility, and love for country. These three enablers, strategic human capital, peace, stability, and security, and national interest and integrity, are not optional ideals. They are the living foundation upon which our economic independence must stand. Without them, our ambition would remain promises. With them, our national priorities become achievable. Our investments become productive. And our vision of a prosperous, sovereign Kenya becomes not only possible, but inevitable. Fellow citizens, our founding fathers defeated colonial domination. The generation after broke the chains of dictatorship. The honors is on our generation, and particularly this administration, to achieve economic freedom. A freedom where effort is rewarded, where opportunity is shared, where dignity is guaranteed, where every citizen matters, and where no Kenyan is left behind. Let it be said of our generation that when Kenya stood at the edge of possibility, we chose courage over comfort, action over excuse, unity over division, and excellence over mediocrity. With resolute belief, today and every Jamhuri hereafter, we should find us true stewards of the freedom entrusted to us, that we shall honor our forefathers not only by remembering their sacrifice, but by fulfilling our duty and the assignment of our generation to secure for Kenya the full promise of economic freedom. It is time to step up from the bottom up, charging forward full steam to economic freedom and taking Kenya to a first world economy. Kabla sijamaliza, ndugu wa Kenya, mimi nataka niwaeleze hivi. Kwanza kwa watu wa Nairobi. Nairobi hoye! Nairobi hoye! Mimi, kuna mambo mengi tunafanya katika mji huu wa Nairobi. Kuna mambo tumekubaliana na county government ya Nairobi. Tunajenga zile barabara ambazo zilikuwa zimekwama hapa Nairobi. Tumekubaliana ya kwamba hizo barabara tumerudisha contractors wote ambao walikuwa pale barabarani. Na sasa barabara zinaendelea kilomita 60 hapa Nairobi. Kwa mfano, barabara ya Muhuri kule Dagoretti South, barabara ya Mama Wahu kule Dagoretti South, bypass ya Mihango Link kule Embakasi East, Umoja 1 SDA Road kule Embakasi West, Pindigwa Road kule Roysambu na Road C Embakasi South. Pia mumeona pale Valley Road, ile barabara ilikuwa imekwama pale, tumeleta contractor anaendelea na kazi. Ile barabara ya Ngong Road pia inaendelea, kazi inaendelea pale. Barabara ya Haile Selassie vile vile inaendelea. Na ningependa kutangaza ya kwamba kwa sababu barabara ya expressway imekamilika na wananchi wanatumia pale juu, barabara ya chini iko na matatizo. Na ndio sababu kuanzia hii Disemba mukienda Krismasi, tutajenga upya barabara kutoka kule JKIA kupitia hapa mpaka kule ABC, na tuifanyie beautification ndio Nairobi ionekane kama city ya taifa letu la Kenya. Vile vile mimi ninajua ya kwamba kuna wananchi wengi wanaishi nje ya Nairobi lakini wanafanya kazi na biashara hapa Nairobi. Wananchi wengi wanaishi Kiserian, wanaishi Rongai, wanaishi Ngong, na kuna msongamano mkubwa sana wa wananchi wakikuja asubuhi na kurudi nyumbani jioni. Ningependa kutangaza ya kwamba mwaka ujao ile barabara kutoka Bomas of Kenya kwenda Rongai kwenda mpaka Kiserian, na barabara kutoka Bomas of Kenya kwenda Karen kwenda pale Shade Hotel, kuteremka kwenda Ngong kwenda Bulbul na kwenda mpaka ifike kule Kiserian, tutaifanya iwe dual carriageway, ndio wananchi wa pale wanaweze kutembea kwa njia rahisi. Najua pia ya kwamba wananchi wengi wanaishi kule Thika, na sasa barabara ya Thika Road pia imejaa na kuna msongamano mkubwa sana wa magari katika barabara yetu ya Thika Road. Ningependa pia kutangaza ya kwamba mwaka ujao vile tuko na expressway kutoka JKIA, pia tutajenga expressway kutoka Thika mpaka ifike hapa Museum Hill, ndio wananchi wale wanateseka na mambo ya jam tuweze kuondoa jam ya sehemu hiyo. Pia ningependa kusema hii uwanja ya Nyayo Stadium, nyinyi mnajua yale maneno tulifanya kule Kasarani. Tuliweka paa ama uvuli ili wananchi wanapokuwa hapa wasipigwe na jua. Mimi nataka niwatangazie ya kwamba kuanzia Januari hii Nyayo Stadium vile vile tutaweka canopy. Hii ni mara ya mwisho wananchi kuwa hapa wakipigwa na jua. Tukisonga mbele, hii kiwanja pia itakuwa na kivuli. Vile vile tunakamilisha ile kiwanja ya Talanta pale Jamhuri. Munajua kazi kubwa ambayo imefanyika pale, kweli ama si kweli? Na nimesikia yale gavana wa Nairobi amesema ya kwamba ile uwanja wa Talanta ipatiwe jina gani? Ati mumesema ipatiwe jina gani? Mumesema ipatiwe jina la Raila Amolo Odinga International Stadium. Nimewasikiza na tukikamilisha tutafanya hivyo. Mimi nataka niwashukuru wasanii ambao wametuimbia hapa. Asanteni sana kwa kazi yenu. Kolabo ya Iani, Femi One na Trio Mio wametuambia tunaweza. Tunaweza hatuwezi? Tunaweza hatuwezi? Tunaweza sio? Guardian Angel pia ametueleza kwamba wananchi wote na viongozi wote tuungane pamoja tujenge taifa letu la Kenya. Inawezekana haiwezekani? Mimi nataka niwapongeze askari wetu ambao walikwenda kule Haiti na mumewaona hapa, tuwapigie makofi jameni. Wamerudi nyumbani na heshima kubwa sana kwa taifa letu la Kenya. And I want to thank them profoundly for their courage, professionalism, and selfless service to our nation and to the world, and for flying our flag high with honor and dignity. Mimi nachukua nafasi hii kuwatakia Krismasi njema yenye baraka na mwaka mpya wa 2026 wenye mafanikio makubwa sana. Asanteni na watakia heri. Mungu awabariki. Thank you very much and God bless you.
Asanteni kwa heshima. Naomba sote tusimame kwa wimbo wa taifa. Let's all be upstanding for the national anthem kindly.
Haki iwe na mlinzi.
Basi nimpishe mwenzangu aweze kutupa itifaki ya kufumukana mahali hapa. Bwana Mike Gitone, uwanja ni wako.